Hi everyone, my name is Mars. Yes, I decided to tell you at least my first name. Okay, so this is my first DIY router plane, and here are the new ones. Since this video is more about showing tips and highlighting the key points of making them, let me show you the details of the plane first. So, I use cutting irons from Veritas, and these router planes are basically made in the same way and the bases are connected to the body by screws. Some of you guys may doubt if 3 screws are stable enough, but they are pretty solid, and in general, router planes are more like to slice the final layer to adjust the depth of the cut, so it's not supposed to do a heavy cut to begin with. Anyways, I actually made this bigger one 3 times because I messed it up twice. So maybe some of the scenes are mixed up from the first or second build, but it's in the order of how I made it. So let's check it out. I started with prepping the wood, and it's only a small portion. The only 2 things I care about here is I have to have one edge really square for the handle piece, and the thickness of the base piece has to be really consistent. If you are a beginner and worry about the accuracy of the base, you can use a plywood too. I also dimensioned the small pieces that I use for clamping a cutting iron. For these pieces, of course I tried to make 4 sides square, but as long as one face is flat and square to a reference edge, you don't have to worry about the accuracy too much. And as the cutting iron I'm using is a diamond shape, I'm making a miter cut on 2 pieces. If you don't have a miter shooting board, you should at least make a 45-degree reference block to improve accuracy. Probably I'll make a video to make a small one soon. Oh, here I'm shaping the other side of the clamping piece. I don't know if you want to make the router plane exactly in the same way as mine, but I made a plan for this router plane as well as the list of the hardware I used, so you can find it from the description. I then glued the pieces. Please be extra careful about the alignment of the pieces, or all your effort will be ruined. Moving on to the brass work. Oh yeah, I bought a blade for my coping saw to cut metal. This blade was only about $5, but I'm glad that I bought it. The cutting accuracy is much improved from my old hacksaw. I then aligned it with a 45-degree reference block to shape it like the picture. If you have a coarse grit metal file, filing the brass is easy peasy. And then I shaped the flip side of it and I finally cut it off. Before attaching them to the main body, I wiped them with rubbing alcohol and scratched where I put epoxy glue for the better adhesion. Well, I said I made this router 3 times, and 1 time I failed here. I stupidly misaligned the brass pieces, so at this time I was placing the part of the cutting iron to be sure it's square. Now I work on the nut to adjust the cutting depth. I just put it on a screw and then spin it by a drill driver and file it to thin it. The thing is, you should spin the drill clockwise. In that way, the nut will stay locked when it has downforce pressure by a file. In addition, my file is a push cut, so I put it on the right side of the nut, and I also used blade lube to help it cut smoothly. At the end, please be sure to chamfer the edge. It's almost there and now I make holes. Yes, I finally bought this drill guide. Anyways, the insert nut specifically I used said the pilot hole should be 25/64 of 1 inch, which is about 9.9mm, so I used a 10mm drill bit. And this is actually my first piece that I ruined because 10mm hole was too small for the nut to go all the way in. Well, after I tested a couple of different size bits, I ended up using 7/16 of an inch drill bit, though it seemed to be running a little bit on the bigger side. Okay, so this is the last process, which is to shape the body and the base. Originally, I wanted to try a more ergonomical shape, but I kind of gave up because this was the third one and it took me 3 days for this, so my motivation was going down. But then, after making this one, my mind was reset, so I made the small one with my full motivation. And once again, these are my new router planes. I can actually put knobs on the big one, but the handle is already comfortable without them. Oh, the reason I made the small one was, I just remembered my old router handle sometimes interferes with clamps to hold a working piece when making a small box. And, like I said, for this project, I made plans and a summary of the tips, so if you are interested in them, please check them out from the description. Anyways, I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I would be happy if you liked the video and happier if you subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestion to my video, it's also welcome. See you!